Well, here we are. I mean, and by we, I mean me. 1 million additional viewers that, um, yeah, we put out the request for viewers, and 1 million people asked to join the stream today, which I thought would only happen to a president of the United States. But it turns out it's happening to Hot Lou also. So, ordinarily, this is the part where I kind of introduce my co host and along with it, the show. But we're running another solo Hot Lou happy hour today. So, welcome to Hot Lou Happy Hour. I'm your host, Lou Abramowski, or somewhat popularly known as Hot Lou. And today's going to be another quick show. But I just wanted to cover, I think, what was kind of the funniest thing that happened over the weekend. Apart from me actually taking a razor to my scalp. So, loyal lunatics, obviously, you know that on Thursday, desperately seeking a new way to entertain you crazy lunatics, I shaved my head live on the air. And followed that up on Saturday, where everybody warned me that you shouldn't take a razor to the head. You're gonna cut yourself. And I mean, I don't mean to brag, but I didn't cut myself once, or maybe I just like cut up all the back of my head, and I still just am not aware of it, and it just like blood was running down my back and in scary fashion. Who knows? But we'll see. I mean, this is a fresh new look. I don't know if it's the pandemic look, if it's hot summer 2020 look for Hot Lou, or if it's going to become more permanent. We'll see. You know what? And we're going to throw that. Why don't we just make the poll be this? Should the shaved head become permanent? And for those who are watching in the watch party, you often don't get to see the polls, but you can follow it up. If you're watching the hotlou.com stream, you can see it from there. Yes. Dear God. No. Still deciding. So we're going to see what the lunatics have to say, because I'll be honest, I'm getting some pretty mixed reviews about the dome here. So we'll see how this ends up shaking up. But the one thing that I did want to talk about, other than the new hairstylings of Hot Lou, was that, of course, Trump originally set to resume his campaign trail on Friday, which was Juneteenth, in a form of a ton of respect. And I mean, I think he deserves maybe a little bit of credit for moving the date from Juneteenth to the next day, but as we have learned about our president, there's almost always some sort of weird ulterior motive. But moves his campaign rally to Saturday night, and I think many people saw that he was at every opportunity talking about how 1 million, I think it was 1 million tickets had been requested for the rally. But of course, sadly, at least I think probably sadly from his perspective, what ended up happening was something vastly different. And let's see if I can get this screen to show up the way that I want to. We're using a little bit different stream here today. So we'll see what ends up showing up as I share the screen here. But I think everybody has probably seen it at this point. But this is pretty good screen share, I'd say. But of course, the arena, which, as I understood it, could seat up to 19,000 attendees, ended up at least a third empty, if not 2/3 empty. And they had planned specifically to have an overflow area where people could watch from the outside. And I forgot to dig up some of the overflow areas. I got a couple screenshots on my phone, which I think are kind of hilarious because the the overflow area ended up by the time the rally started was really about 20-25 people just sitting around actually not watching what was happening indoors at all. Uh, so the whole thing was pretty comical, but I think at this point it's become commonplace that the numbers are going to be inflated by the president. But what was really like extraordinarily funny about this is what we have come to realize. And let's see if I can pull this up. It's going to take a moment here, so bear with me, lunatics. Um, let's see if I can do it this way. I'll have to transition back, and then this right here. Okay, bear with me. You're doing a great job, lunatics. I always appreciate the patience, because I think this one will come through. Oh, and it's going to share a little bit nicer too. So we're going to transition a little bit back here. So the funny thing that happened is that it turns out that what was one of the driving forces behind making this whole thing happen was a TikTok meme that was perpetuated by a bunch of K-pop stars and K-pop fans errantly going out there and requesting tickets. Oh gosh, and I don't know if the music's coming through there or not. Um, so we're gonna transition back. Oh boy, I have no idea what's happening right now. We're just gonna go ahead and do that. Lunatics, I need a little bit of feedback here to understand whether or not we are getting audio come through. So Lunatics, if you could tell me in the feed here if you're actually getting a bunch of audio coming through, that would be great to learn here. So maybe that'll clear things up. Yeah, that was really distracting. I have no idea what's happening, but I'm getting audio in my headphones, so I'm just gonna pull the headphones off here, and hopefully the lunatics aren't getting that audio coming through at the same time. And you get a full view of the dome here. This is hotlou as raw as you'll probably get him. But anyway, super funny story, right? Like you've got President Trump bragging about all of his all of the people specifically trying to get into the rally. Turns out almost nobody shows up. Pretty comical. And not only that, that it was TikTok and a bunch of K-pop fans who actually made this happen, which I thought was just absolutely ridiculous. And I kind of need to put my headphones back on and probably deal with whatever audio is happening here. I still can't figure out where the audio is coming from. But maybe if I delete the, oh gosh. Okay, that should probably stop the distraction, and it's not. Oh boy. Um, so, getting back to the story, I just thought it was just like utterly comical and hilarious that this was happening, and it was because of K-pop stars. And specifically, um, I wanted to share another mayor of Wokedale. Okay, Joe, you're getting the audio in Facebook. I'm wondering if there was like a second feed like blasting into my headset, and I don't know where that was coming from. So I think it's probably just me coming through on the headphones. So just another crazy day in hotlou Happy Hour, trying to figure out how software is or isn't working. And let's see if I can make this happen. We're gonna try to pull open one mayor of Wokedale, and then we're probably gonna call it a show as this continues to be a little bit of a disaster, trying to share things. But where did our mayor of Wokedale end up going? I wonder if I can copy image address, paste it in here. Yeah, live. Where do I? Okay. Um, so, okay, here we go. The new mayor of Wokedale, and this is fascinating because for me, what I think is pretty interesting about this one in particular, and this came from loyal lunatic Kevin Thompson, as we lose the background too. But what's fascinating about this one is it really falls under Poe's law, and for the most loyal lunatics out there, you know that we talked about this once upon a time on the hotlou show and on a previous episode of the hotlou happy hour. Poe's law is an adage of internet culture stating that without a clear indicator of the author's intent, it's impossible to create a parody of extreme views so obviously exaggerated that it cannot be mistaken for or mistaken by readers for a sincere expression of the views being parodied. And it was named after a man named Nathan Poe. But so what's fascinating is I think the correlation with Poe's law is not only that it's impossible to create that, it's also impossible to actually know whether or not what you're reading is a parody. And in case it's not clear here, there is the Kansas City Mavericks honoring basically their hockey team, and somebody replies, "Hockey is overwhelmingly white. Tweeting about honoring your tradition is akin to a dog whistle honoring white supremacy. Delete this." Now, unfortunately, in the screenshot that loyal lunatic Kevin Thompson shared, I wasn't able to see who the author was, and no, and and without that, I wasn't able to actually create the Mayor of Wokedale award to hand to the person, and I'm also unclear whether or not this was a parody or not. But it sounds very sincere, so I'm gonna ask the lunatics here. Just leave a comment here if you don't actually end up seeing the poll, because the polls only show up to a handful of you. But I'm gonna create another poll here. Do you think the white supremacy, okay, comment was real or parody? So real, parody, and not sure. Or how about impossible to tell? Okay, we're gonna see what the lunatics have to say about this, because I can't tell on this one. But regardless, I think this person deserves the new mayor of Wokedale, because this comment is just like, I don't I can't I don't know. I don't know whether this is real or not. So leave a comment. Let me know what you think. But I am on the side that I think this is real. I honestly think that somebody saying just because like one particular activity is mostly people of one race, that it's akin to calling that race superior. Um, I'm pretty curious what you lunatics think, if this was a real comment or not, or let me know if you think it's deserving of a mayor of Oakdale. Which we should have a website coming this week, along with a new Facebook page that I'm sure everybody's going to be pretty excited to check out. But we need your nominations. Like, we see them every single day. What's happening with, I think, the kind of overcorrection stuff. But it'd be really curious to see what you think, lunatics, of whether or not you think that comment was real. And we also need some nominees. So bring those nominees in. Um, that's kind of it for the show today. I know it's a little bit limited show, but I got a little bit backlogged with some actual work today. Oh, interesting. So the lunatic votes are coming in. The voters are coming in calling it a parody. I have a hard time. I'm on the side that I think it's real. Um, I don't know. Maybe I'm being naive. I really think that one, and I see a handful of lunatics are jumping in here, so I'm gonna show it on the screen again here so people know, um, just to get an idea. Um, Loyal lunatic Pokey here asks the important question: what isn't real on the internet? I think that's a philosophical question um, that we probably need to dwell on. Like, for example, where's hot mic number three? Do you lunatics? Do you miss hot mic number three? Today was going to be the big day. It was going to be the big reveal. Who knows if he even knows that? Um, for the entire 33 years that I think we've known each other, roughly, I don't think he's ever seen this version of hotlou. Um, so, but I guess there's one other thing that I do want to say as loyal lunatic Pokey kind of steps in here. I just want to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers that are out there. I think uh, uh, I don't. Sometimes I feel like Father's Day doesn't get enough credit or enough attention. What do you think, lunatics? Check in. Let me know. I think Mother's Day gets a ton of attention, and probably and rightfully so. Mother's Day. I mean, mothers, especially at the beginning of lives, take on a lot more responsibility than fathers, and I don't think that's in any question. I don't think anybody would deny that. But Father's Day seems to take a little bit of a backseat in terms of the Mother and Father's Day, and maybe that's how it's supposed to be. But I just wanted to give a shout out to all the dads out there. My dad, I didn't get a chance to really connect with him, unfortunately, but I think he probably understood. I tried calling, but his Father's Day usually just is him taking a handful of naps and watching TV, and I think I caught him in the middle of a nap, so we just traded a couple of text messages. So maybe you think that maybe you lunatics out there think I'm a bad son. I'd love to hear that, and or let me know what you did for your dad. I'm always wondering what the lunatics are out there doing and supporting their support systems out there too. So anyway, I know there's pretty much all the lunatics fall under the category of either dad or mom. So to all the dads out there, happy Father's Day, and to all the moms out there. I saw a lot of you out there, even for the ones that are divorced from from the father of their kids, giving a shout out to their dads. And I think it takes a lot of maybe not guts, but some self-reflection. And it takes, I think, a really good person to just get out there and say happy Father's Day, even if you don't necessarily aren't even maybe on great terms with your ex-spouse. So I got to see a lot of that on Facebook too yesterday. So good for you all. Okay. That's so funny. Okay, I have to tell this story really quick about my dad because loyal lunatic Matt Lancaster said in the comments something pretty funny. So for a good, I'd say at least 10 years, every time I would call my dad, and it still happens here and there now, but the start of my conversation with my dad always started one particular way. And I'd call him, or a better way to put it, let's say he called me. I'd answer the phone and be like, hello. And he'd 100% of the time, I'd just answer the phone and I'd just be like, hello. And he'd go, oh, I see. Every single time. Not hello or anything. He'd just be like, oh, I see. Which was hilarious. And then later on, it kind of morphed and it would turn into that starting like hello, and then he'd be like, hey there, and then I'd be like, how's it going, Dad? And he'd go, how's it going, world traveler? And he still does it about 50% of the time. And it doesn't matter. I mean, like, I could be he lives in Cloquet and I could be visiting him. I could be on my way to go to his house and he will still greet me on the phone with the exact same how's it going, world traveler? And for those of you who know my dad, I don't do many impressions. One of them is of my dad, and I mean, not to brag, but nobody does a better impression of my dad than I do. So that's my Father's Day story for you all. Hopefully, you guys got an opportunity to either be with your dad, talk with him, or for those who've lost their fathers, I hope you had an opportunity to honor him or do something like that too. So, okay, we're gonna wrap up a pretty quick and rough and tumble hotlou happy hour today. One of these days, Hot Mike number 3 is coming back. I don't think he's been canceled. I don't think he's lost in the abyss, but I do know as the world continues to reopen, we're all finding more responsibilities. So we're looking to you, lunatics, to better understand exactly what you're looking for from hotlou happy hour, how you want to consume this, because things are going to be changing just like this. Some of the shows are going to be solo, some of them are going to be recorded, but I promise you, we have Best Christmas Ever is going to be on the show. I'm hoping this Friday, but we might need to kick it off another week. We also have 3 huge organizations that want to come on the show that, especially for Minnesotans, you're going to love them. I haven't confirmed date, time, or how we're going to make all of that happen, but we're just figuring out dates and how to actually make it all happen. Also, I think on Thursday's show, I'm going to be visiting my friend who is a massage therapist and talk about like the safety issues that she's gone through. And we might even do it. I need to hear from you, lunatics. I think we're going to get a live massage and figure out how to do that and talk and share it. Laura Sanchez, or for the lunatics out there in the ultimate community, you know her as Laura Burskow. So look forward to that. That could be the craziest. And you thought shaving my head was a crazy show. There might be partial nudity on a show soon to come. So my whole comment about the rawest hotlou happy hour happening, we may beat that out soon. So with that, we're going to wrap up today's hotlou happy hour. Tomorrow is Lose Day. I really hope Hot Mike number 3 will be back, and can't wait to share that show with you. So we're wrapping up today's show. Thank you all for tuning in to yet another rough and tumble hotlou happy hour. I am your host, hotlou, and I will be back tomorrow and talk to you on Lose Day.